guys, I'm going to be talking about a conjunction today in natal birth charts called Chiron conjunct Pluto. That means if in your personal natal birth chart you have Chiron within, I would like to say about 9 degrees of Pluto, then it's considered a conjunction. Conjunctions depend loosely on like what planets are involved because slower moving planets such as Pluto are not going to be felt with like the looser conjunctions as much. So I think 9 degrees is pretty generous because that is a slow moving planet, but that's as far as I would go and still consider it a conjunction with Pluto specifically. So what happens when you have Pluto conjunct Chiron in your birth chart? Well, I've been blessed to meet a lot of these people lately. I don't know what it is, but my gosh, I have been attracting them. And so I was like, I have to make a video about it. I do caregiving part-time to fill in with my massage and sound healing business. And I just have like 1 or 2 clients usually that I do caregiving for. And right now, I'm working for a woman who, in the town where I live now, which is relatively small, she has a really far-reaching reputation for being a bitch. She's not nice. I'm not saying that everyone with Pluto Chiron is this way. I'm not. Because I'll give you other examples of other people who have this placement that are not that way. Like Krishan Rock has this placement, and I'll go on and tell stories of like other people that I've known that have this placement. But let's get down to the basics. Chiron represents your wound. It represents a place in your psyche where you've experienced wounding. Pluto represents death and rebirth in that cycle, which requires complete transformation and it requires deep destruction. So Pluto's gonna go down to the depths. So if you have a wound conjuncting Pluto, then the way that energy is embodied in the person that is you means you feel a wound in some part of your life as deeply as you can feel it. It goes all the way. So have some compassion for Krishan Rock. Also have some critical thinking skills for Krishan Rock because that woman is on the receiving end of blatant misogyny on a cultural level. There's better people on YouTube you can find to go into great depth on that, but I think that's worth noting, and that's just always going to be my stance. So yeah, Pluto Chiron is really, really deep wounding. Now, we are alchemists. As human beings, we are potent, alchemical creatures that have the ability to transform and make life what we want it. You got to work with what you got. So I'm all for, that self-knowledge and that self-awareness, and that's one of the reasons I love astrology. But this is not an easy placement, and it's one that to transform it requires a lot of courage and a lot of willingness to feel pain. So the reason I think it's really interesting in like the lives of people that I've seen is because it can go like both ways. I say that a lot with my Chiron videos because that's pretty much my take on it. In both ways, being binary is still kind of oversimplifying it. But ultimately, like, you have a strong Pluto placement. So you can look at it as a gift that you could become a very, very profound healer. If you're willing to do that, within your physical being, because there's no separation between your body and your experience of this realm. That's again another side tangent, but just know that like trauma and emotions, sure we have our higher self, which witnesses us. Like if you do meditation and you're trying to get back and observe yourself objectively, sure, you can do that with your consciousness, but I believe we come into this world to incarnate and take flesh. And our experiences and our memories and our relationships are all very physical, felt things that run through our bodies, our electromagnetic bodies in the form of waves, because you're just condensed light, to oversimplify it. So if you have this Pluto Chiron within you, you have an innate ability to alchemize pain as deeply as it probably could ever be alchemized, and use that as a token of strength. A lot of people say that like your vulnerability is your strength. I don't know if that is biblical. I really can't remember where that comes from, but yeah, like it makes you a human being and it brings you compassion. Chiron and pain bring you in great touch with your humanity. So this is someone that could be like so deep and compassionate and understanding of life, but it can also go the other way. Like I said with my caregiving client, this woman is elderly and she does not have a token of care for anybody. And so it's like there's different mechanisms to the human psyche, but if at some point early on, which I know a little bit about her childhood, and I know that it was severely traumatic, and it's like at some point maybe it became too much and she developed this hardness to her where she was like, I'm not going to feel this pain. I'm going to project it on everyone else around me, right? So if that's the mechanism that she has somehow aligned herself with, and she's now projecting deep pain on everyone, doesn't that kind of make sense why she's so mean? Like, she just wants to insult people. She will pick on, like, true, like, little, like, points of weakness in anyone and pick on them. Like, that's what she does. It's such a narcissistic thing. And I feel like it's just a unfortunate manifestation of something that could be really great. Okay, people are complicated, right? We're not all black and white. Another person I know that has this placement has Venus in the conjunction. She has Venus, Chiron, Pluto, all within like 4 degrees. And she is on a healing path, and she's very young. So I'm really advocating for her and like rooting for her. But also, she does the like projecting pain thing like heavily. An interesting facet of Pluto I find is that it's about power and control. So as much as it's about death and transformation, it's like if you don't give up what you feel like you need to control in order to not like have power, if you're not willing to go through the plutonic process of letting go, then you're not here for what Pluto has to offer. So if you don't do that and you still have the Pluto placements, right, it kind of operates because it can't get past what you're not letting go of, which for a lot of people, we are trying to control what people think about us. We're trying to keep from being under control of other people. We want to have power so that we don't have to be weak. We want to have power so that we don't have to be put in a vulnerable circumstance. For Pluto to really do what it's supposed to do, you need to be allowing yourself to feel vulnerable. For those painful emotions to pass through your body, you need to let go and give up power, which is very difficult to do wherever you have Pluto in the birth chart. But it's like, I mean, it's what you signed up for as a human being. Like, that's part of life. It's the stuff that is it makes you feel the most small or unlovable or like terrified. That's what Pluto does. It brings you to those places so that you can feel those things, let them pass through your body, and find out you're still here. You're still okay. You are, in fact, better for the experience because you now know that you can handle it. And that's when you develop real power, like real resilience, real presence in your body, which is what I consider real power to be deeply embodied. Deeply, deeply embodied. So Chiron is ruled by Virgo, which it rules over the physical body. So that being said, like, this placement can have people that have like really major injuries, knock on wood, and I don't want to say that that's true for everyone, but like really bizarre physical ailments I've seen with Pluto Chiron in people. My belief, again, is that if you do the emotional processing and allowing really deeply painful emotions to run through your body, that it will not manifest as injury. I believe it manifests as injury because there's something in your body that isn't being allowed to flow through. So, what else do I want to say about this? You're a dope person if you have this. Be brave. Surround yourself with people that have compassion, and have compassion for yourself, and have compassion for other people, and don't project your shit onto everyone else. But ultimately, this is like big healer energy. And if you do let it move through you, then the collective is better for it. You're doing such deep work for the collective, which we need healing so badly, and you have like a token of deep healing within you. So be proud of yourself. Don't be afraid of how terrible you can feel, because it's just an emotion. And if you have someone kind and loving in your life that can hold space for you to process these gnarly emotions, then it'll just be like when you're sick and you need to puke, and it's like you would rather die than puke, but then you do puke and you're like, whew, I feel so much better now. It's like that. You just have to ride the waves, and you can do it. So if you have this placement, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, let me know if there's other videos you guys want me to do. Thanks for listening. If you like the content, like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next one.